Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Param Dharma Bhagavad Dharma is and the Anushīlam of this Param Dharma Bhagavad Dharma is being discussed here in this transcendental program. We welcome everyone. We are studying Bhagwan Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Sikshastakam prayer. Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the incarnation of Godhead for this present age of Kali Yuga. It's a unique age, and especially by becoming blessed with the mercy or the munificence of Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadanyata, the highest possible fortune for a conditioned soul made possible by the munificence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the Sankirtanam. And all the teachings of Mahaprabhu, in order to become practically to be made incorporated in the lives of the conditioned souls, Mahaprabhu has in a way reignited the Sankirtan. Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho. It is not that the glories of Sankirtan and the divine names of the Lord is not mentioned in the scriptures, but it was not practiced by the previous stalwart devotees. But the way Mahaprabhu propagated it, it became possible for the most fallen conditioned souls like us to become eligible to achieve the highest benefit of Sankirtan. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the inaugurator of Sankirtan movement, what is his identity? He is Radha Govinda combined. No? And he himself is praising because he is the practitioner himself. First he practices and demonstrates in front of the whole world to the onlookers how much ecstasy he is experiencing by chanting and participating in the Sankirtan. So the cause and effect is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The chanting is the cause of his ecstasy, and his dancing is the effect. So how much blissfully he himself is experiencing, and through his demonstration, he has drawn the attention of all the common masses also, including all the stalwarts also. And the blessing in the first sloka, what we discussed towards the end, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So this is a special hidden blessing of Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace, and he proclaims, let Sri Krishna Sankirtan be expanded into this mortal world. And let it benefit everyone infinitely. For this is the highest and greatest benefit. for the whole world. It is not limited to one section, one place, anything. It is all comprehensive. It has the capacity to inundate the whole universe, all the living entities. And that alone will release us from all the troubles. Because it exposes, it brings us in direct exposure of the highest possible achievement. And what is that? What is the highest possible achievement? Love of Krishna. This is the participation in Sankirtan through chanting, hearing, dancing, and feasting. So Prabhupada has added one more. All you have to do is just do the chanting, do the hearing, do the dancing, and have wonderful Krishna Prasadam. So the Sankirtan process inaugurated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his own sweet will and by his own unique blessing has spread and spreading more and more all over the world. Especially in this Kali Yuga, the Sankirtan becomes very, very special. Because the present degraded age of Kali, only Nam Sankirtan can help us. It's not the other means of deliverance of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga. Other means are not available. And out of many limbs of bhakti, the 64 limbs of bhakti described by Rupa Goswami Rupa in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, they are also practicable, but the maximum benefit is possible only through this Nam Sankirtan. That much emphasis is given, especially in this age of Kali. Because, of course, Nam Sankirtan is beneficial in all ages, not limited to Kali Yuga. This is the beauty of it. It is beneficial in all ages, but it is especially recommended in this present Kali Yuga because in this age, all other attempts, all other means will be opposed by many forces, many circumstances. Anya Nirpeksha, sadhan only Harinam Sankirtan. Doesn't require any particular requirements or education, some means. You have to be wealthy or you have to be part of that particular community or anything. Totally Anya Nirpeksha sadhana. A person can participate or do Nam Sankirtan alone in one place, closed door. It has no blockages actually. It cannot be stopped if one wants to do it. And it is especially recommended in Kali Yuga because in this age, all other attempts will be opposed by many forces. But Nam Sankirtan cannot be opposed by any troubles if one wants to do Nam Japa. In many styles, loudly or quietly, or one can partake in taking or relishing the name of the Supreme Lord. The troubles and waves of this material world cannot oppose it. So one must adopt it. It's not at all troublesome. It is most hilarious. It is providing the most pleasing experience. And naturally, everybody must adopt it. And this is the only means of deliverance in this age of Kali Yuga. Therefore, if we exclusively give ourselves to this Nama Sankirtan, we will gain the highest fulfillment of life. In spite of all the negativities and issues and troubles, forces negatively, Nam Sankirtan can be, one can partake in it because it can be performed under all circumstances, all times. It doesn't require any prerequisites. It doesn't require any formalities. It doesn't require any means. Under all circumstances, it can be taken. And one can gain the highest fulfillment of life. And there is no necessity of any other campaign, because all of the campaigns, because on the material platform, they are always defective, partial. But the most universal, captivating and beneficial thing is Nam Sankirtan. There are other propagandas of different sort, but they are all defective, incomplete, because none of the propaganda of so-called well-being or others, they connect us to the highest benefit of the soul. The soul has been hankering since eternity for love of Krishna. So none of the campaign, spiritual, apparently spiritual or Vedic, non-Vedic or social, any other, there is no match. It's just matter of getting educated that how valuable, how exclusively valuable Nam Sankirtan is, which can take us to the highest goal. And that alone can satisfy the soul. So all souls, conditioned souls means those who are disconnected with Krishna. So all souls that are now disconnected from Krishna may be helped within in this way, this Sankirtan way. No other movement is necessary. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells us, exclusively devote yourself to this Nam Sankirtan. It is all embracing and all fulfilling. And you can achieve it with the least trouble and least energy. Let it flourish in this Kali Yuga. So this is a hidden or implied blessing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let it flourish for the welfare of the whole universe, to re-establish all souls in their normal constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Divine Couple, Radha Krishna. So in the conclusion of first sloka, in the last time sharing, we quoted this. This is also the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, because any process we follow, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say, that it has to be authorized based on the scriptural authority. So Nama Sankirtanam Yashya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanastam Namami Harim Param. So Srimad Bhagavatam concludes itself with the glory of Nama Sankirtanam. And it describes that what is the glory, what is the effect of participating in Nam Sankirtan. Nama Sankirtanam Yasha Sarva Papa Pranashanam. All the sin, Pranashanam, becomes absolved, become uprooted from our system of sanskaras. No? Papa means all anomalies, all the anarthas, all the dusanga, all the asat propensities in opposition to our Swarup. The propensity of serving or becoming attracted to the Supreme Lord, all these proclivities, all these desires, aspirations, they are in accordance to our Swarupa. So anything which is opposite, any propensity, anything which is against our Swarupa, they are called the anomalies, correct? Anomaly means out of place, mismatch. So we face, so all the mismatches of which take us away from our Swarupa, they are all papas. No? Papa, in our colloquial language also, anything which blocks our progress. So from a spiritual point of view, anything which blocks our spiritual realization is called papa. So papa means all anomalies, all undesirable things, sin. Basically have two kinds, three kinds they will describe. Anya Vilashita, we will discuss in a synopsis of the first sloka, so that the second sloka is like a first sloka is like the thesis, It's like then the second sloka, which will be coming today, is like Anvaya Vyatirek. In the first sloka, it is described that all these benefits we can have, all these benefits are given to us, but in spite of such benefits given to us, what is that has still deprived us from getting all these benefits? So it's like antithesis. Thesis is the first sloka. Second sloka, which will be coming, is like antithesis. How is it possible? If so much positive is being given, positive is being provided as a blessing, what has blocked, what has caused us not to get the full benefit of it? And delivered already, we are still stuck in this material conditioning. So material enjoyment and liberation, bhog and moksha, and anyabhilasha. Anyabhilashitashinam jnana karmadi anavitam. Bhukti mukti spriha. Material enjoyment and liberation are also included in anomalies, sinful activities. Why is liberation considered sinful? One may wonder. Liberation is a big lot of glorification of liberation in the scriptural annals. Because it is an abnormal condition. Liberation, moksha is an abnormal condition. Our natural function is to serve Krishna. So anything which deprives us from becoming situated in our natural function of serving Krishna, it is anomaly. So in moksha, in salvation, we become bereft of, we become deprived of Krishna seva. So if one aspires only moksha, then the moksha does not include service to Krishna. So that is an abnormal position, and therefore it is also a sin. To ignore our natural duty and stand aloof from that, is it anything but sinful? Yes, it is sinful. So the message of the first sloka is similar to that of Srimad.Bhagavatam conclusion. That is the conclusion of Bhagavatam. Chant the name of Krishna. Do this. Nothing more is necessary. Take the shelter, is the ultimate shelter. Pranamo dukkha shamanas. Taking the shelter of the holy name of Krishna is the absolute shelter. Infallible shelter. Dukkha, what is dukkha? Dukkha means anything which causes uncertainty. What will happen to me now? We have some shelter, husband shelter, wife shelter, money, wealth shelter, society, family shelter. And of course, but they are temporary and they cannot be relied upon forever. Eventually, and because this shelter, some of the shelters, or one of the shelters remain as long as we live in this body. But what happens to when we leave this body? Where is the shelter? And that's why all the shelters in this world, including our body, is our shelter. They are all fallible soldiers. A truly intelligent person, as a human being, can think, what will be my shelter once I am exited without notice out of this body? What would be my shelter? One who can think along those lines, those thoughts, he can become fortunate enough to come across the eternal shelter of Nam Sankirtan, taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord. So Bhagavatam says, chant the name of Krishna. Do this, nothing more is necessary. Take this. This is the very conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. the greatest spiritual gift to humanity from Sri Vyasadeva. Chant the holy name of Krishna and begin your life in this dark age with the most broad and wide theistic conception. It concludes, if, after studying the Bhagavatam thoroughly and all the Vedic literature, it comes to the conclusion of taking exclusive shelter of the holy name. That means the person has understood the message of Bhagavatam completely. Very nice. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes this further from there, through Nam Sankirtan, now targeting or exposing the highest possible perfection of human potential in Radha Dashyam. So from Bhagavatam, Nam Sankirtan, common for all, but Nam Sankirtan taking us all the way to Sri Radha Dashyam. Tavad Brahma Katha Vimukti Padavim Tavanna Tikti Bhavet. Tavat Chapi Vishankhalatva Mayato No Loka Veda Sthitihi. Tavat Shastra Vidam Mitha Kalakalo Nana Bahirvat Masu. Sri Chaitanya Padam Bhuja Priyajana Yavanna Driggochara. All other means and all other proposals of the scriptures and proposals of different educations in the history of Vedic culture. So many stalwarts have given different philosophies and different kinds. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he based his teaching on the highest conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam in Nam Sankirtanam. So it is said that Tavad Brahma Katha Vimukti Padavim. Brahma Katha, Aham Brahmasmi, Soham, Shivoham, all this tendency. Brahma Katha and Vimukti Padavim. The achievement of moksha, they don't sound or feel, bad. Tikta means Tavad Brahma Katha Vimukti, Tavana Tikti Bhavet. Tikti means unpalatable. If something is very, very hot, chilly, it is not very palatable, correct? So, means the teaching of Brahma Katha or Moksha, they feel good or sound good only until then. When? Then Tavat Brahma Katha Vimukti Padavim Tavanna Tikti Bhavet Tavat Chapi Vishrankhalatva Maite No Loka Veda Sthiti. Vishrankhalatva. All these different positions or statuses based on Vedic directions within Varnashram Dharma, status. Tavat Chapi Vishrankhalatva Maito. Different Vishankhalas, different paramparas, different projections of progress in the name of Tava Shastra Vidam Mitha Kalo Nana Bahirvat Musin, all the different proposals given by different sections of the Vedas and different sections of stalwart devotees in different branches. They appear somewhat only until Sri Chaitanya Padambuje Priyajana Yavana Drigo. Only as long as one does not come across the merciful glance of a person who has endeared himself to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The whole idea is the conception which Mahaprabhu has brought, the Krishna conception. It is so overpowering over all other conceptions. And that's why we can consider ourselves very fortunate that we have come to the verge of this generous and useful thought, that we have come close enough to touch it, correct? Nam Sankirtanam, to accept it and float ourselves in its waves according to our capacity. After passing through so many conceptions ourselves, is a religious person, and the charm of different prospects, we have left them all behind and have come to the shore of the ocean of Nama Sankirtan. Isn't so wonderful? Now we may throw our bodies in this ocean and begin to swim in the waves of Nam Sankirtan. The nectar of the nectarine, by the grace of our Sri Guru and the mercy of the Vaishnavas, ours is line of carrying the flow of nectar, flow of mercy of Mahaprabhu. Because it is their property, we are just the free recipient of it. We don't get this by out of any qualifications, because qualifications wise we are bankrupt. This mercy flow, the flow of Mahaprabhu's mercy has come through the Vaishnavas in Guru Parampara. It is their property and we are their slaves. We have such audacity. To become a slave is not a good connotation in the worldly language. Nobody wants to become a slave. Everybody wants to become a master. But here, one who agrees to become a slave becomes the biggest beneficiary. Correct? So this is a path of surrender, Sharanagati, in which if we can manage, if we can appreciate that by becoming the slave of the Vaishnava, slave of Sri Guru, we can achieve the highest benediction, then who would hesitate to become one? Ultimately, anyway, we don't have any other qualifications, because such a priceless gift of love of God, and the process of Sankirtan, it has come to our doors. If you want to take the fullest advantage, then our attitude should be to become a slave of the Guru, Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. Up to what level, like the concept given our Goswamis and Guru Vargajis. It's like swimming in Radha Kund, the highest benefit one can imagine. No? So we can demonstrate, once one becomes a slave, has such a liberty to show the audacity, because he has nothing to lose, everything to gain. Can you imagine if somebody becomes somebody's slave on the authority of his master or her master? One can demonstrate tremendous audacity. So what could be the audacity appreciable by all of us? We can have such audacity to throw ourselves, our body, into this ocean of Nam Sankirtan and swim in that nectarine ocean, swimming even up to in Sri Radha Kund. What is Radha Kund? The very manifestation of the love of Krishna. No? The highest conception of spiritual attainment can also be found in the highest form of Nama Sankirtan. So this first sloka, which we studied, represents the positive side of the unlimited ocean of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. 7 aspects, 7 benedictions of Nam Sankirtan we studied. We will also capsulate again before we proceed the second sloka, because it is the antithesis. So in order to appreciate and understand the antithesis, it is very important that our understanding of the thesis, positive side of the unlimited ocean of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Because next sloka, today's sloka, explains the negative possibilities. So it's a total, so starts with 8 slokas, they are like complete package of education from the beginning to the highest point. And by accepting this path of pure devotional service, what we can expect is the wholesome transformation of our consciousness. Our internal system begins. And gradually our charm for the outside world, what happens? Our charm for the outside world becomes replaced by our wholesome transformation of our internal system. So our charm for the outside world vanishes because tremendous revolution within the heart. There is a war within. And when the Krishna conception enters into the heart of a devotee, what happens? All the conceptions have to leave. The Krishna conception, which enters our heart through the powerful resounding vibrations of Nam Sankirtan, it just kicks out all the conceptions. They cannot stand in front of the forceful inundation of the ocean-like forceful flow of this Nam Sankirtan. How much the heart can handle. All other teeny conceptions have to leave. They have to retire. Srimad Bhagavatam also explains this. Pravishta karna ranjena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam krishnam salilasya yatha sharad. In second canto, the glory of Krishna concept is described. Such a beautiful comparison is given. Salilasya yatha sharad. Sharad means autumn season. So when the autumn season appears, what happens? The mud within the pond or lake, what happens? It just subsides, goes down. And the water on the top appears very, 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 very clean, crystal clear in autumn season. Compared to in the rainy season, when the water appears muddy. The mud within the water vanishes in the autumn season. In the same way, when the Krishna conception enters into our heart, all other conceptions and aspirations will gradually have to retire. Leaving Krishna in possession of everything. Krishna takes over. Krishna rules. Actually, Krishna doesn't mind to come and sit on the seat of our heart as we all aspire. Krishna, please come. And Krishna doesn't mind. Krishna may say, well, your heart is very small, and you want me to enter, take a seat there. I don't mind, but I will take the exclusive position. I will take the whole position. So anyway, through Sankirtan, when we participate in chanting and hearing the Krishna's name, it enters the heart, and its influence is so powerful that it removes all others from our heart. All other conceptions and aspirations will gradually have to retire. Leaving Krishna in possession of everything. When a real drop of Krishna consciousness enters our hearts, all opposing forces must leave. It's not by any options of leaving. They must leave, and Krishna will conquer and take possession of the whole heart. So that is the nature of Krishna consciousness. Nothing can stand in competition with it. Correct? And we see all over the world, whosoever have been infused or somehow some connection of Krishna devotees and Sankirtan, now they cannot follow any other system. Nothing can stand in competition with it. Not even the so-called devotion for the demigods or all these traditional worships and different things. Because exclusive devotion to Godhead, exclusive devotion, singular devotion to Krishna is so powerful. It puts every other faith every other devotion for anyone else, including the creeds even, Christianity or so-called Islam or Judaism, any other, Sikhism, Jainism, nobody can stand. The Krishna conception is so potent, so overpowering all others. All other conceptions of theism have to retire, leaving the field to Krishna consciousness, Krishna conception. No aggressors can stand in front of it in fight with Krishna consciousness. It is so absolute and such a sweetly attractive beauty of it. Who can withstand the force of beauty and sweetness which comes through this Nama Sankirtan? And that's why it is so amazing. No power can stand, like we see in the world history also, that in front of beauty or sweetness or something very charming, they can capture any power in opposition, So Krishna has demonstrated all this amazing beauty, sweetness, and charm of this holy name of Krishna, Nam Sankirtan, to defeat all opposing powers. And who doesn't aspire after beauty and sweetness, correct? Everybody is in search of real beauty and real sweetness, mercy, affection, divine love. So it is, and it is so generous, through generous disposition of Krishna consciousness or Nam Sankirtan, it will melt anybody. It will melt any opposition, you see, eventually, because the conviction of those who participate in Nama Sankirtan through their total becoming consumed in it, Actually, one hankers to become fully consumed. So if those who participate in Nam Sankirtan, if they are ready to become fully consumed, who can stand in opposition to them? They will lose. Because a devotee in self-dissipation or giving himself completely, he doesn't even live for himself. Not to live for oneself, but to live for others. And that is what Mahaprabhu wants us. Because now we don't worry about ourselves, what will happen to us. We have become Mahaprabhus. We have become Krishnas. Now it is our obligation that we become instrument of Krishna to give others the opportunity to become Krishnas also. So Krishna consciousness is so beautiful. But one who develops it loses his own identification and existence also, because he becomes fully consumed. He doesn't worry about oneself. His worry is Krishna's worry. He worries or thinks of Krishna, what will please Krishna. He doesn't think independently of himself, correct? So there is the beauty of it. And the whole existence, material existence, is plagued with the disease of self-worrying, But when one becomes part of, truly becomes a part of Sankirtan movement, he becomes free from self-worrying. He only worries about Krishna. Worry means thinking that what Krishna wants from us. He becomes totally self-forgetful. Such a charm is there in Sankirtan. Who will stand to fight against Krishna? Everyone who comes to fight against him is disarmed. Because Krishna, who is all-powerful, if he enters the heart, his charm takes over. No? There can be no other consequence, but that he takes possession of everything. Such a benevolent, generous, and sweet person is Krishna. Such a beautiful reality. So it's a very, very overpowering experience in Krishna consciousness. Nam Sankirtan is the essential aspect of it. Of course, in order to understand that if something is so magnanimous and so giving, this Mahaprabhu's mercy flow, how is it? So the second sloka, today Mahaprabhu is striving, second sloka. So in that sequence, we will appreciate the message of second sloka because it's very scientifically put together in sequence. Nam namakari baudha nij sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarnena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi Durdaivamitrisamiha janinanuraga. Namnamakari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarnena Kala. Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mapi. Durdaivam Idrisham Iha Janinanuraga. Out of your causeless mercy, Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi. Out of your causeless mercy upon me, you have descended in the form of divine sound. But my great misfortune is that I have no love for your holy name. O my Lord, your holy name bestows auspiciousness upon us all. And you have unlimited names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you reveal yourself. Namnam Akari Bahudha, so many. Nija Sarva Shaktis. In your many holy names, you have kindly invested all your transcendental potency. And in chanting these names, there are no strict rules concerning time or place or circumstance. How liberal. First, liberality means the such priceless flow positively, all the positivity demonstrated in Sankirtan, in spite of so much positivity and all the benefits, 7 benefits we will cover in part of this also again, 7. But the lamentation here is that out of your causeless mercy, you have descended in the form of your divine sound. But my great misfortune, so what is the misfortune that we will discuss? My great misfortune is that I have no love for your divine. So this acknowledgement or this remorse that my great misfortune is that I have no love for your holy name. Is it a hopeless situation? Or this very acknowledgement becomes the eligibility to achieve the highest benediction. So this second sloka is filled with a lot of paradoxes in the spiritual life, especially on this path of pure devotional service. What one thinks about oneself is very critical. What is the right way of thinking? What is not so good a thinking? Because to express hopelessness, but at the same time acknowledging causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. There is a description of Chaitanya Charitamrita where devotee is calling even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that when I think of my situation, you know, I feel very hopeless. But as we discussed many times, on this path of pure devotional service, and especially our connection to the unlimited mercy of love of Godhead coming from Mahaprabhu and through the agency of his devotee Shad Goswamis, and especially in the present age of Kali Yuga, despite whatever condition and the circumstances we face in Kali Yuga, the flow of mercy of Mahaprabhu is unlimited. And it wants to reach out to the lowest section of this universe, means lowest means human sections, lowest corner, downtrodden section of the human society on this earth. So when a devotee thinks that very despicable, very abominable situation a person may feel, so it feels like very hopeless, correct? But when one thinks of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, so then some hope comes, Otherwise, pretty hopeless situation. But when one thinks about the causeless mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, suddenly the ray of hope comes. So in spite of this antithesis presented here, if one feels like that, it feels like desperately, bankrupt. One feels that on his own accord, he's in a very despicable, very deplorable position. So this acknowledgement of one's fallen condition becomes the eligibility to attract the causeless mercy of the Lord. So in this sloka, what it says, "O my Lord, you have revealed the chanting of your holy names, and all your power has been invested in it." Krishna's name is as powerful as Krishna. All your power you have invested in your holy names. Both the holy name of Krishna and its potencies are eternal. Because Krishna, who is most powerful, and Krishna's name, who is known different from Krishna, is also most powerful. And Krishna's name and its potency, they both are eternal. All potencies or energies are found within the holy name of Krishna. As we discuss and study the pastimes of Krishna, Krishna demonstrates his prowess, his opulence and everything. Correct? And to that supreme personality of Godhead, who is named Krishna, his name is also as powerful. That's why all potencies or energies are found within the holy name of Krishna. And there is no particular time or place which has been fixed for chanting the name. No restrictions, no rules, regulations. It is not that one can only chant in the morning or only after taking bath or only fulfilling certain norms or requirements, formalities. No. Or only after you can do only after doing particular tirthas, only after visiting Some places you become eligible, you get a special title, and after only by having that certificate, only by becoming certified, qualified, you can do certain things. Krishna's holy name can be taken by everyone, everywhere, without prerequisites, without pre-qualifications. Everybody is already qualified. Ayogya hai purusho nasti. Every human being, because he has the prerogative. In other species, it is not even possible, but it is possible for every human being. So there is no such conditions. One may go on chanting the holy name of Krishna anytime, anywhere, in all circumstances. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking the role, position as a sadhaka, as a devotee. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. But assuming the mood and sentiments of Srimati Radharani or his own devotee, he is demonstrating his plight. It's a greatest attitude. Greatest attitude he's demonstrating through this sacred sloka, because he's like coming down to our level, isn't it? My condition is like that. What Mahaprabhu's condition is not like that. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and he is Radharani himself in his disposition as a devotee. Mahaprabhu Sri Gauranga Radha Krishna Nahi. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Maha means Mahabhav. The embodiment of Mahabhav is Srimati Radharani. And Prabhu means Lord Sri Krishna. So when both combine, the disposition of Radharani is the embodiment of Mahabhav takes over the disposition of Krishna. When both combine, the prominence is of Radharani. So it is Radharani himself speaking like this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "O Krishna, you have given a most sublime opportunity to all. You are so infinitely gracious that you have given us the service of your holy name." Nama bhajan, no? What else we need? Still, my misfortune is the worst. I don't find any earnest desire within me to take the name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking, speaking like a conditioned soul, like us, So if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrates something, demonstrating even the attitude in such a humility and such a humbleness, it is something we should be able to imbibe. Those who are faithful, we can appreciate. Mahaprabhu is ready without any jijak. If he's ready to take such a position, it is only to encourage us that we should think like that. You are so infinitely gracious that you have given us the service of your holy names. Still, my misfortune is that I don't find any earnest desire within me to take the name. I have no faith, no love, no tendency to take the name. I do not find any innate hankering to chant the name. What can I do? So, such a deplorable, such a hopeless situation he is acknowledging. Actually, in this kind of attitude is inbuilt the remedy or the eligibility. Because Mahaprabhu has come to give the priceless thing. Even the very valuable thing, if any sadhaka thinks that I can purchase that thing or I can purchase that by my qualification of my bodily strength, mental strength, or yogic prowess, discipline, prata, austerity, etc., then it is diminishing the value of the priceless thing. Anybody who thinks he can put a price to the thing the Lord has come to give, like we find that many personalities, they perform very, very severe austerities to achieve something. So that was the tendency of the sadhakas in other yugas. So Mahaprabhu could not give, but in Kali Yuga, this kind of attitude which Mahaprabhu is demonstrating in this second sloka, it is imbibable. It is personable. Many people, many sadhakas, by becoming overwhelmed and overpowered by the negative situations of this Kali Yuga, they can feel that wretched. And so they can also join Mahaprabhu in expressing this kind of sentiments. So Mahaprabhu says, "Oh Lord, you have given everything from your side to lift me up from this mundane world of relativity, duality. Your attempt to deliver me is so magnanimous that all you require from me is a little cooperation in accepting your grace. But I turn a deaf ear to your magnanimous call. Oh Lord, I am so hopeless." Hmm? But in this attitude itself is hidden the real boon, in a sense. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us great hope in the first sloka, correct? The glories of Nam Sankirtan, it has the capacity to inundate the whole world. The holy name can become victorious, or it will make everybody victorious. Anybody who will be drowned in the unlimited flow of Nama Sankirtan, they will become imbued with the highest gift of love of God. So many positive aspects. This chanting of the holy name described in the first sloka. Correct? If we think of them, and we have elaborated upon them in two previous classes, again there is a desire or temptation to again go through those 7 benefits. He explains that the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, when properly undertaken, may progress step by step, revealing 7 consequences, 7 benefits. The first effect is the cleansing of our consciousness. So the cleansing of our consciousness, basically, what Mahaprabhu tried to demonstrate that Sri Krishna Nam Sankirtan is the topmost performance out of all the various limbs of bhakti. He put the highest value to Nam Sankirtan, to cause to benefit the conditioned souls, It cleanses the heart. All the unwanted aspirations are removed. The first effect is the cleansing of our consciousness of all the obstacles, all the sinful or unwanted desires, other aspirations for moksha liberation, aspiration for sense gratification. The second is liberation from all mundane relativity. Cheto darpan majanam bhav maha davagni nirvapanam. And the third effect, positive goodness awakens within our hearts and takes us to Vrindavan. So basically, how these seven benedictions, which are described in the first slokas, such a boon of Nam Sankirtan. So when this great fortune or the positive goodness awakens within our heart and takes us to Vrindavan consciousness. Why Vrindavan? Because the pure devotional service and up to the Madhur Yugal Priti, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, right? The concept of or the benefit or the effect of Nam Sankirtan, which becomes a life for the pure devotional service. The concept of Vadhu takes us to Vrindavan. Then under the guidance of Swarup Shakti, the Lord's internal energy Yoga Maya, we come to the Vadhu conception. As we described, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. What does it mean? Vidya means Vidya or the education or the knowledge. It is compared to a Vadhu, newlywed wife. So, what is the definition of Vidya? Vidya means with the help of which we achieve our goal, or we reach our destination. That is the meaning of Vidya. Through education, we can find the solution. Through education, we can reach the perfection of our human potential. So Vidya has different categories: material education, spiritual education, and ultimately to achieve the Vadhu platform. The symptoms of a Vadhu, a symptom of a newlywed wife is described now. How is she? She's very, very well behaved. So when this pure devotional service through the means of Nam Sankirtan enters our heart, our nature or the nature of a sadhaka becomes like a Vadhu. Very pleasing, very attractive, very cooperative, and very respectful, correct? Submissive, obedient. So this becomes the transformation of a sadhaka. So because we are potency, and as a potency, we are to serve Krishna unconditionally. We are Krishna's, that is our identity. And Vadhu means that rasa which gives full connection with the Lord in Madhurya rasa. In Madhurya Rasa, all the rasas are included. The fullest service of Krishna is possible in Madhur Rasa, Vadhu. So every gopi, every sakhi, every manjari is a Vadhu. So under their subservience, under their supervision, we can attain the highest perfection of our human potential in Radha Dashyam. And what one experiences after achieving or realizing or coming to the position of a Vadhu, and our nature becomes so conducive and so cooperative. Now we have no resistance, and we find that everything is just nothing is disturbing us. Everything is simply feeling positive, because as a Vadhu, as a wife, one who has accepted that attitude, of being respectful, being submissive, being obedient, being cooperative, very pleasing, soft speaking, sweet speaking, at the same time remaining concealed, not revealing the inner emotion to everyone, keeping it only exclusively for the divine couple. The Gopi Bhava to Krishna, of course, that is not our aspiration. Our aspiration is to become a maid servant to Srimati Radharani, because that is most pleasing to Krishna. And that is also most beneficial to Krishna. So that is the highest service of Krishna. Highest service of Krishna is not through the aspiration to associate with Krishna in Ras Leela, or to be celebrated as a wife of Krishna or a gopi of Krishna. But Krishna wants us, because Krishna is so fully attached to Srimati Radharani. And in order to achieve her association, many times he has to face many, many obstacles, many. And that's why, even to attract the positive, or to agreement with Radharani, he finds himself incomplete. So those who become confidential of Srimati Radharani, and of course Radharani also wants to fulfill all the desires of Krishna, but because of the peculiar nature of her sentiments, or her bhava vaichitri, variegatedness of different bhavas, and man, and vamya bhav, sulky nature of Radharani becomes an obstacle for even herself to be able to meet Krishna and please him. And when he assumes the mana or vamya bhava, even Krishna cannot help. So you need a third party. And third party becomes this Manjaris, the confidential, eternal Sangini, Nitya Prana Sakhi. They are very dear to Srimati Radharani. And they alone are able to associate with Radharani 24/7. That is their fortune. So naturally, Krishna needs their help many a times. Anyway, so that fortune of highest perfection of our human potential, or highest fortune in accordance to our eternal Swarup, as eternal servant of Krishna, is in Radha Dashyam. So after that, after attaining that Vadhu stage, what are the other consequences that come? One becomes a particle in the ocean of joy, and that joy is not stale or static, but ever new and dynamic. It is purifying to the utmost, although we are allowed to keep our individual conception. Still, we feel that all parts of our existence becomes purified to the utmost. Anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. All parts of our existence becomes purified to the utmost when we take the name. And this will not only affect me, but all who are connected with this Nam Sankirtan. They will experience mass conversion, mass purification, the utmost purification. We are not just alone. Everybody is just in the same boat, in the same flow. Sarvatmasna padam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sampil. At every step the joy flows. Sarvatmasna padam, every iota of our existence becomes submerged in the ocean of love, the bliss of the holy name, chanting the holy name. So such a wonderful thesis presented in the first sloka, correct? So after mentioning this thesis in this first verse, Mahaprabhu now gives the antithesis in this present sloka today's. When such great hope is there in the holy name, why are we having so much trouble? Mahaprabhu it is in the scriptures, it is described as a Purva Paksha. After making such a wonderful proposal, before the audience raise objections, so Mahaprabhu himself is raising the objection, making an antithesis. If we simply study or hear the exposition of this Sikshastakam, no question will remain. All questions will be answered, and all our questions will be like taken care of. So Mahaprabhu is raising the question. Mahaprabhu now gives the antithesis in the second verse. When such great hope is there in the holy name, why are we having so much trouble? Where is the difficulty? Why do we not realize? Why we don't feel the sevenfold benefits which Mahaprabhu describes in the first sloka? Why don't we realize the advantage of the magnanimous sanction of divinity found in the holy name? Unlimited, inestimable grace is coming from Krishna's side. He has given us so many opportunities since eternity, with the least requirement from our side. We must have some test, correct? It's just like, watering the desert without putting any seeds in the land. What happens? So Mahaprabhu's unlimited flow of mercy is coming. So there should be some seed desire. Even that is missing. That much hopeless situation we have. That is what is. See the paradox. See the paradox. He has given us so many opportunities with the least requirement from our side. Least doesn't mean zero. Huh? There should be something, because if the seed is not there, no matter how much water we sprinkle, how much all other things we put in the land, no crop will grow. We must have some taste, some earnestness to accept the holy name, the flow of mercy. But there is the difficulty, we have none. Wow, this is really hopeless. That precarious our situation position. No matter however, how greatly precarious our situation, but the connection to Mahaprabhu's courses mercy itself becomes our ultimate hope. Because the acknowledgement on our part that we are totally bankrupt will make us the greatest or the fullest recipient of Mahaprabhu's mercy. One has to feel really that bankrupt to, like, suction. When there's zero air, the whole mercy is sucked in, pulled out, pulled in, whatever. So that should be our position, that we become so desperate because being bankrupt and desperate, now whichever way the mercy comes, we are ready to take it with both hands, with all readiness, because there is no other way. Fully and exclusively, we are now ready to imbibe Mahaprabhu's mercy. So what hope can we have? How can we attain it if our position is so hopeless? We may be approaching the holy name formally, but not from the core of our hearts. So by what process can we really benefit and make progress? Next time we will discuss the third sloka, which is the answer to this question. What is required on our part? We'll find in the third sloka the answer. What is the question? If our situation is so hopeless, we don't have any qualification whatsoever, then how can we attain the mercy Mahaprabhu has come to bestow upon us? Without some connection of some sanskara, what can we do? We don't have the impetus, we do not have the readiness. But because we have acknowledged that we are bankrupt, we are fallen, we are in utter need. Because when a person acknowledges that he is fallen, that means he can fall no further, correct? Fallen means reach the bottom. If a person thinks he has reached the bottom, he cannot fall further. There is only one direction for him to move, that is coming upward. Where is our readiness? Then what is needed? Well, there is a solution. There is a hope. Hope even in the surrounding of all hopelessnesses. Although one may feel that he does not have the minimum required deposit to receive the grant. It's to get a grant, they say, okay, can you put 10%? Means the bank wants to know that they have something to show. Without that minimum amount, the bank may not be ready to give, or anybody may not trust them. Minimum required deposit to receive the grant. Still, it is not a hopeless case. How is it not hopeless? If one goes to the bank and say we don't have anything. But I have seen in my journey also, one person become totally bankrupt. He had previous business in the expensive business, but because of the market crash, in 2000 some year, and he said, I had previous experience, I had this properties and this, but this situation happened. And my experience and my honesty is my only qualification. So he was really honest, and the town he moved in was progressive. So the bank took a risk. The manager said, "Okay, I will watch your progress," because he have nothing, nowhere else to go. So they came with the 4 family members. And then from there, he grew and he became very successful. In the same way, one may not have even a minimum required deposit to receive the grant. Still, it is not a hopeless case. How? This is what we are studying. The very nature of this realization that I am hopeless, I have no other shelter, I have no other means, takes him to the conception of humility. Humility and honesty, because there is nothing to be dishonest there. That's a reality. A person, bankrupt person, because nowadays people have this cheating propensity. They hide the money somewhere and declare bankruptcy. But when a person has really nothing to hold on to, and if he has shown the records that yes, he has nothing, then that humility is genuine and that is rewarded. So that's why the very nature of this realization that he is bankrupt, he has nothing, takes him to the conception of humility. When one begins to practice devotion towards the infinite Lord, he cannot but feel that humility in relation to the infinite. There is nothing of value in himself. He thinks what he thinks. I have nothing to give in return, even the minimum requirement for the Lord's grace. Minimum requirement for the Lord's grace. That takes him to the conception that I have no qualification, I am completely empty, completely bankrupt. A devotee feels within his heart that he is not only unfit but too despicable for the Lord's service because of wrong conditioning, correct? Our wrong conditioning is so negative, so much addiction, so much intoxication, so much bad habits. It's like addictions of different sorts of addiction of meat eating, addiction of vulgar behavior, addiction to duplicity, addiction to telling the lies, addiction to duplicity, different things. All these things. It's very hopeless situation. But honesty and humility, there is a way out. He thinks, I have nothing to give in return, even the minimum requirement for the Lord's grace to receive. But that takes him to the concept that I have no qualification, I'm completely empty. So, same attitude and same demeanor we find in Caitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also demonstrates. He's only encouraging really fallen souls of Kali Yuga like us. Krishnadas Kaviraj in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, I am lower than a worm in stool and more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. Jagai Madhai haite munis se papiste, puri shere kita haite muni se lakhiste. Have you ever imagined anywhere else in any spiritual literature or of our knowledge we have heard anyone express his position like that? He says, I am lower than the worm in stool and more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. So, and we know the position of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, a person who can express openly his position as if wretched like this. So it gives us some hope because he is celebrated as the greatest devotee of Mahaprabhu. His Chaitanya Charitamrita is the supreme praman or the evidence literature of Mahaprabhu's manifestation. So if he speaks like that, then we should not be discouraged when we think we have not even the least bit of merit which is required for the service of the holy name of Krishna. For this kind of consciousness is natural for a devotee. So if you really think like that, uh, at least we are connecting to Mahaprabhu's grace. Because who else would hear this? A person who is able to reveal or speak like this, express, acknowledge like that. He's just imploring, or he's only speaking to the Lord because Hari ko Harinam, they're just saying, one who has become overwhelmed, overpowered by the external negative situations, circumstances. Only the Lord can rescue him. So that attitude of utter desperation, utterly bereft of any shelter in this world, any relation, any people, any means. Hari matlab if he is defeated, Hari ko Harinam, Hari Bol. So Mahaprabhu and Nityan Prabhu, through their demonstration of Sharanagati, they are attracting the most fallen, wretched souls of this Kali Yuga and bestowing upon them the highest possible mercy. And that is the most wonderful thing. But at the same time, we must guard ourselves from an insincere conception. Sometimes this kind of attitude expression could be imitation, just to attract other devotees, other sadhakas. Oh, how humble we sound, how humble we appear, look, etc. Looking could be our makeup also. It could be our conscious effort to appear good, look good, sound good. But actually, have we become good? A person who has become good means who has become genuinely humble and unassuming. He doesn't have to endeavor to look good or appear good or sound good. He has become good. So one should ask this question. Am I still trying to look good, appear good, sound good, or have I really become good? And what is the definition of being good? Being good means being honest, being free from duplicity. So that's why I said we should guard ourselves from an insincere conception of our own devotion. This is our enemy. To think I do not have the least liking or taste for the Lord, to express that I don't have any liking, any love for the Lord, that's all right. But most sadhakas may have hard time to bring openly or expose openly themselves as being that low. But to think otherwise, that I have some taste, I have some earnestness, some devotion for the Lord, that attitude is dangerous. Because if we start claiming that we have some qualification, correct? Even due to chanting, even due to participating in Sankirtan movement, if a person thinks now he become qualified, because That means I become qualified. And the moment a sadhaka thinks in his mind that he is qualified, and Krishna thinks, okay, you think you have become qualified, now you are on your own. Because the mercy, the kind of mercy, the causeless mercy, the priceless mercy Mahaprabhu has come to give can be received only in this acknowledgement of utter disqualifiedness, utterly incapacitatedness. So as a person becomes more and more qualified, more and more evolved in the spiritual consciousness, more and more humble and fallen one feels. This is the paradox. So the trajectory of our progressiveness on this path of pure devotional service is what we think now compared to what we used to think. The conception of, in the beginning, the conception of dasa dasanu dasanu das, very good. When we join the Sankirtan atmosphere, we like this concept, dasa dasanu das. When we become initiated, we become das, correct? We get a lot of promotion from dasa dasanu das to das. Very shortly, we become Prabhu. In the address by others to us, we are called Prabhu. Then what else is left? Only to become Mahaprabhu, correct? So see the trajectory of our progressiveness. We moved from Das, Dasanu, Das to Das, then Prabhu, and now maybe Mahaprabhu somebody is thinking. Maybe not so arrogant to admit it publicly, but sometimes in the attitude, some might think, yes, I'm the boss. So this tendency, this trajectory of our progressiveness is the negative progressiveness. The other one should become more and more and more humble, because as one imbibes the value, the pricelessness of Mahaprabhu's mercy, he thinks, no, there's no way that I can earn any qualifications through any means to claim to have that mercy. One must not think that, oh, because I'm qualified to have received that mercy, because mercy and qualification, don't go. They go ill together. If something is achieved through our qualification of any sort, spiritual or material, it cannot be called mercy. And the priceless thing can be given only through mercy, only through free. Because if anybody had the price to purchase that thing, it cannot be priceless, correct? So that is the attitude checking. Our trajectory of progressiveness should be feeling more and more unqualified, more and more unqualified. So what is dangerous? To claim that I have some taste, I have some earnestness, I have some devotion for the Lord. That's a dangerous direction. If we are going to have a connection with the infinite, we must be fully empty. Our self-abnegation, that humility, utter humility, must be complete. Our identifying with the worldly achievements, as Mother Kunti said, Janma Ishvara Shruti Stupid, achievement of having birth in a high-class society, achievement of having a lot of worldly opulence, achievement of having a lot of worldly or even Vedic spiritual education. We are very learned, Pandit, scholar, or qualified, certified qualified. We are degrees and different things. Janma Ishwar Stuti Shri. We may have the natural beauty of our form and our personality, and different sorts, And the identification with this worldly achievement is a negative thing. How difficult would it be to really have them and not claim them? Correct? We are studying this as a theory, but these are real tests we will have to face in order to become really eligible to be transferred to the ultimate fortune of the soul in Radha Dashyam. How much we will have to let go? How much? Do we have any idea? And we must withdraw from it completely. We should think how? I am nothing. I have no qualification for being accepted or used in the service of the Lord. I am completely unfit. So this worldly fitness, if it becomes a unqualification or unfitness of us, are we ready to let go? We must completely withdraw from the egotistic world and allow ourselves to be captured by Yogamaya, the Lord's internal energy. How much we can allow the internal potency Yogamaya to rule over us, when we have identification of so many means and so many superiority or power above others, how difficult would it be to become a slave of Yogamaya, slave of Sri Guru? Because Sri Guru is the agent of Yogamaya, Kripa Shakti of Krishna. But this is possible, when our appreciation for Krishna consciousness, appreciation for the status of the spiritual master, appreciation for the spiritual surrounding atmosphere we are exposed to, then we have replacement. We can definitely let go, but it depends on the true progressiveness of a sadhaka. I am completely unfit. I may have acquired and accomplished my fitness to be so-called happy and established in this world, but this world is dukkhalayam shashvatam. This world is, if one does not feel that it is full of miseries right now, but Krishna says ashashvatam, it is not going to be rosy all the time. It's just a matter of time when things will turn upside down. The very things, or the hope of very things which make us very hopeful and very proud in this world, those very things can be the cause of our greatest misery. So we must completely withdraw from the egotistic world and allow ourselves to be captured by Yogamaya, the Lord's internal energy. Are we ready for it? Are we ready to submit ourselves unconditionally, like becoming a slave? Does the slave have any position? The whole position is the master. But the worldly acquisition, worldly identifications, they have just conditioned us to be the boss. We are so used to this. We are so conditioned to be the boss, and especially with worldly achievements. So it's a very mismatch. The whole position is with the master. How is it possible for a person who has remained used to be a master for such a long time, since eternity, how much deconditioned he should be ready to become to give that position to be a master and become a slave, where everything is master's, nothing is his or hers. So realizing this is our real qualification. On the other hand, even due to residual effect, residual impressions of being a boss lording over everything around me, to lord over others. As soon as we assert that we have some qualifications, our difficulties begin, because we will take shelter of the qualifications, and to that extent, our full surrender would not be possible. Complete surrender is possible in the complete acknowledgement that we have no qualifications. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, I don't find a trace of love for Krishna within my heart. Na prema gandhosti darapi me harau krandami saubhagya bharam prakashitum vanshi vilasyananalokanam vina vibharmi yat prana patang kanditha. So this is the expression of Srimati Radharani in Gokul, in Braj. But Mahaprabhu, adopting her sentiments, bhav, in Gambhira, expressing her very precarious situation, unpleasant situation she is feeling in. How humble. I don't have any trace of love, Krishna, within my heart. How is it possible? The nearby people, they asked Radharani, how can you say that? You are all the time crying. How can you cry all the time without having love? Correct? Nature. Somebody can make a show of love, shedding tears for some time, and sometime demonstrating something. Yeah, oh, such a great love someone is for someone. If somebody is crying all the time, lamenting all the times, hankering all the times, now it cannot be but love, na? But Radharani is trying to hide her love. He says, Krandami, why are you crying? Krandami Sobhagya Bharam Prakashitum. I'm crying only to, just to hide her real love. She is just taking this whole thing. Oh, I'm just making a show that I have love for Krishna, because who doesn't like to be appreciated that one has love for Krishna? So I'm just Krandami Sobhagya Bharam Prakashitam. Bharam means illusion of that I have love for Krishna. Then people are not buying it. Nobody can cry all the time. How can you say that you don't have any love for Krishna? Then Radharani is giving another excuse. Vanshi, the proof that I have no love for Krishna, that Vanshi Vilasya Nanam Lokanam Vina. In spite of not being able to see the face of one who plays the flute on his mouth, not being, in spite of not seeing the lotus, beautiful flute playing face of Krishna, I'm still holding on to my useless breath or useless prana, life. So that proves that I have no love for. If I had any genuine love for Krishna, by the powerful force of love, I would have not kept my life. And it's a fact. On the stage of love of God, one cannot live this life. So Radharani, in the mood of Radharani, Mahaprabhu was demonstrating, thinking of oneself as a worldly person, worldly lady. So, and it's a fact. At the love of God level, one cannot sustain, one cannot tolerate the force of love in this mortal body, Panchabhautik body. So Radharani thinking herself also like one of us, and saying that if I really had love for Krishna, I would have not survived. The very fact that I am surviving, even without seeing Krishna, it proves that I have no love for Krishna. See the level of humility Radharani is demonstrating. So, So this is the standard of humility. And that feeling must be sincere. It must not be an imitation. We must be careful. We must not venture to imitate the highest devotees, to genuinely feel, to conceive that we possess nothing and that everything is His. That is the only qualification for chanting the holy name of Krishna. This is the thing. There's so many different angles and different aspects of this second verse, because antithesis, we haven't gone in much more detail due to time wise. In the next sitting, we will certain other aspects of this sloka we will share. So today I just put end to my speaking. Thank everyone for participating and encouraging us. If you have any question, any addition, any comments you would like to share, please come forward.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Pranam. Thank you for this wonderful class. I have one question, please. How can I become humble?
Can you, so I can ask counter question? It's just spontaneously coming to my mind, so I'm just, I say, can you put a ratio? You are educated person, correct? So ratio can you put the ratio between how much you know and how much you do not know out of the total knowledge knowable? As much as you know to what you do not know. Very easy, no? Can you put a ratio?
No, I cannot.
If you cannot put a ratio, it should be very humbling. You have become humble. So easy, no? Just a synopsis, just an idea. We have unlimited opportunities, especially through satsang. We have unlimited ways, opportunity to incessantly feel, genuinely feel, and genuinely become humble. All right?
Thank you, Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna, welcome.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Pranam, Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna, Siswami.
Shri Guru, I also have a question, Shri Guru. So, this mood of Radharani, Shri Guru, no one can imitate. How do I understand, Shri Guru, that I have no love for Krishna, no good service attitude, and it doesn't bother me, Shri Guru? How do I come to that level? How does it does not pinch me also much, and how do I gain that?
Same thing, because that's why I said that this second sloka is filled with unlimited paradoxes. Whenever the paradox appears in question or in during the explanation, I take the opportunity to express, because more and more we become conversant with the paradoxes, more and more these questions will be revealed. What is a paradox? As we described that, in the this Mundak Upanishad also, there is a sloka appears if one wants to look into it. But the thing is, our conditioning and liberating, we are in between. Conditioning stays and liberation stage. So 100% conditioned state means 100% claiming. So more and more we acknowledge the mercy of the Supreme. More and more we acknowledge our humility and fallen condition, incapacitatedness. Lesser and lesser we will start claiming. So when Radharani, this ultimate demonstration of humility, because so much more is at her stake. No? She is not able to find Krishna, she is not able to attain Krishna, in spite of having such exclusive hankering for him. So naturally, greater the stake, greater the humility, because she will not settle for anything less. So for her to demonstrate the highest unbelievable humility, it's very much in place. Now, becoming inspired by her humility, we can at least raise our appreciation for Radharani's love for Krishna, correct? Because in our Swarup, we are not in the position of Radharani as a Naika, or not in a position of, we are the servant of the divine couple. We are the aspiring to become a choicest maid servant of Srimati Radharani. So what will soothe her in our meditation, in our contemplation, in our thoughts, how we can help out Radharani? Bhaktivinoda Thakur has, in his writing, he has written something very wonderful. He said that he aspires to make his cottage on the bank of Brahma Kund in Kurukshetra. You know, in Kurukshetra, Radharani and the gopis, they came from Vrindavan. But when they saw Krishna in the Rajavesha, or in the kingly attire, so although they were seeing Krishna, but they could not get to Krishna very close, because the atmosphere was missing, the surrounding, all these things were missing. So he said, I want to make a cottage on the bank of Brahman Kund, where Radha Krishna did meet the gopis and the Brajvasis, but there was something, there was a need to pull Krishna from there. Why are you stuck there? Krishna was making many excuses. Oh, I have a lot of work to help out my relatives and a lot of duties and everything. So he was self-imposing all these obligations on Krishna. And Brajvasi is saying, Krishna, come on, you know what pleases you the most, what will make you more happy. Why are you too much obliging for such a long time? Sacrificing your highest pleasure, correct? That was the advice. That was the argument given by him. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to join Radharani's endeavor to pull Krishna out of there, his entanglement into so many other obligations of the world. Of course, Krishna reciprocates according to the desire and the will of his devotees in other places outside Vrindavan also. But there is like, I give you the example. If a person is endowed with the best talent of two kinds, suppose somebody is a topmost computer engineer and also topmost, the best accountant or whatever, I'm just try to understand what I'm trying to share. So if that person is employed by a company, then what is the best usage of that person? He's the best calculator, and he's also best computer analyst. What would be the best use? A company has many computer engineers, many accountants. So one of the employees is the best computer analyst, and he's also best accountant, suppose. In what ratio? Again, the question is, in what ratio the company should utilize his service to get the maximum benefit of his talents? The company has many accountants and also many other computer analysts also. But this one employee, he is the best accountant also and also the best computer analyst. In what ratio his talents the company will be utilizing to get the best out of his talents? Can you answer this question, Natali or anyone? Well, let me, he's the best computer analyst and he's the best, best cleaner.
Radhe Radhe, can I answer? Try to answer.
Yes, thank you for coming.
As per the need of the company.
Huh?
As per the requirement or the need of the company should take work from.
I'm asking you the answer, but you are making a suggestion. Give me the answer. You are the boss. How you would utilize the talent of that employee to maximum benefit to your company?
Computer analyst, Shri Guru.
There are multiple computer analysts. He's not the only one. And there are multiple others also. But he is best in the two talents, computer analysis and also as an accountant.
Computer analyst, Shri Guru.
Say clerical work or office keeping. He's the best office keeper and he's also best computer analyst. How the company should utilize his talents to the maximum benefit to the company? Simple question.
Shri Guru, would it be if he's chosen as computer analyst, then the clerical work through his expertise in computer analysis, he can do that clerical work as well and benefit the company?
Anyone else? I'm surprised, it's such a simple question becoming complicated apparently through the answers. If it's a simple question, correct, it has to have very
Shri
simple
Guru,
answer. Yes.
both, like if he's working 8 hours, 4 hours accountancy, 4 hours computer. 16
hours, suppose. Why are you worrying about the hours? As many hours they want to use,
Shri Guru, computer analyst.
If he has the capacity to become like Haridas Thakur of workaholic. Whichever hours is not a problem. What way to, in what portion his best talents in both fields should be utilized to give the maximum benefit to the company. So we are asking this question in a spiritual class. So it has some relevance, correct? We will share that relevance.
50-50, Shri Guru.
50-50. Anyone else?
Computer analyst, Shri Guru.
Computer kitna percent? Or kitna percent?
100%.
100% computer work. Huh?
Yes, Shri Guru, because he's perfect.
He's perfect in both. So what ratio? 99% or 80-90, 80-20?
Okay. Ratio-wise,
Ratio-wise.
50-50% because he is perfect in both the fields.
I'm surprised. Such a simple question. And so, is it not due to our intelligence we have made the mess of this simple question? Why shouldn't the company use the 100% time in the most valuable work, which is computer analysis, correct? The clerical work, other staff can take care. The second best clerical person can take care of his job, which is not so critical. Make sense?
Hmm.
Let him be utilized all his time in computer analysis, because his being best clerical work is not a very critical thing. Second best, other clerks can also take care of the clerical work. You get the point? So now coming back to your question, I forgot the question. Could you recall?
Shivayaki, I realize I'm utterly bereft, but it does not hurt me much, Shri Guru.
No, we haven't realized it. No? We still hang to so many shelters. That's why I said, very well said and understood, but how totally useless they are to achieve what we aspire to achieve. So it's quite possible that whatever shelters we have identified with, we want to play very safe. Nah? It's natural. And it's very difficult to make the change, move. So one has to hanker, one has to cry out that although in theory, we want to say that we are bankrupt, we have bereft of any qualification, bereft of any other shelter, bereft of any means. But the desperation won't come. That's why in Bible there is a saying. It is said that it is easier to thread a camel through the hole of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. Something like that. You got the point? Means how much value you give to the thing you want. We have managed, okay, if love of Krishna doesn't come, if it doesn't happen, at least we are doing fine, We have wishful thinking a lot. So the desperation comes. That's why at the stage of at the stage of what?
Asakti.
And asakti is very rarely achieved. Asakti is like falling in love with someone. You cannot manufacture falling in love with someone. It requires tremendous dedication and it is hoped. At the stage of asakti, which is the first sprout of bhava bhakti. Because at the stage of bhava, you become fully involved. You cannot become fully involved merely with the Vaidhi Bhakti. In Vaidhi Bhakti, your involvement is very calculative, very time-oriented, and you are just safeguarding yourself, at least playing the minimum role, correct? The minimum standard. 16 rounds is the minimum. Prabhupada said no less. But is the minimum enough? Can minimum be ever enough? But we are used to, because even 16 minimum is very struggling. But at the stage of asakti, incessant chanting is also not enough. So realization is missing, na? And that's why we must hanker for realization. We must hanker that our appraisal of the divine realm, our appraisal of that is the status, our appraisal of what we are aspiring after, how valuable it is. If we are given any indication to move forward in that direction, are we ready fully all time to let go whatever shelter, whatever things we are hanging on to? So without realization, it would be very extremely impossible, difficult. But one who has found attachment of any aspect, attachment of the nama, rupa, guna, lila, dhama, parikar, abharana, one has to, one's consciousness, one's connection to Krishna has to be with either to his name, nama, rupa, guna, lila, dhama, parikar. They are all non-different from Krishna. So anything which becomes directly perceived without direct perception, we don't feel the attachment. We cannot become attached. And even after perceiving directly, it has to have sufficient association, sufficient contemplation, sufficient reciprocation in feeling to become attached, and it becomes like addiction. It's like that's called obsession. So the material obsession called infatuation, it comes and goes. We have lived through it innumerable times in unlimited lifetimes. But the spiritual obsession we haven't experienced as yet. And once it happens, we are done with all other impressions of previous lives and impressions of this lifetime. It's a very rare thing, but it is possible for anyone and everyone. But it is very rare. So if you are really ready for it, then beware, it may happen.
I pray it happens, Sri Guru.
But you have to cry for it. You have to crave for it. You have to pray for it. Then it's possible. So that's a big paradox, So the paradox itself is the answer to your question. All right?
Yes, Sri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sri Guru. Pranam, Sri Guru.
So anybody has any comments about the question answer we had about the ratio between how the person with the multiple talents should be utilized? The most valuable, most expensive service is the computer analysis, correct? The clerical or cleaning job can be done by the second best cleaner or clerk. So the highest benefit to the company should be from the best service. So the relevance of this question is that we are stuck between prioritizing our things, We think certain things in our life are emergency, which are not. What we call emergency, they are not. And what our priorities means, which connects us to the highest aspiration of this Radha Raksham, any association, any cultivation of consciousness along that line, that is our real priority. So if we are able to consume or utilize our maximum time in the real priority of our life, we should not bother so much about the emergencies. Emergencies take care of themselves, because things happen not because of our presence or because of our absence. Things will happen. We let go the prime duties in life in the name of emergencies. That something happened, somebody passed away, or somebody did this and that. These things happen and go. how much we sacrifice our number one priorities. So if we utilize a computer analyst, this talent for 50% other work, then we are underperforming, isn't it? We are underutilizing the maximum benefit achievable from the talent of the person. So the same thing applies to ourselves. How much we really want to value. Ready? All right. So I think it was just a direction thought. You are all very intelligent. So explore the depth of your intelligence and apply that same example, that how much priority you want to give to your real priorities compared to those which are not so much priority. Hare Krishna. Okay, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Sri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Koti Koti Pranam. Thank you so much for the enlightening lecture. And your command on the English words just feels like embellishment or adding ornaments to the English language. Each line you speak has unmeasurable depth and really touches our inner consciousness and helps us remold ourselves and engross in Krishna consciousness. Every line, like just now you said, emergencies take care of themselves. And during the lecture also, what you were saying, Vidyavadu Jivanam. Actually, in material life, we have experienced that phase, but it's really enlightening to follow this quality in spiritual life also, Shri Guru. And like just one experience I want to share. When 2 3 months back, when I met you, Shri Guru, the first day I had worn gopi dress, and immediately you told me that our outer deha is not gopi, our inner consciousness must be gopi bhav. So that also, I was thinking about that in for a long time, and that also helped me very much to remold myself. And thank you so much for everything you say, Shri Guru. Koti Koti Pranam. Hare Krishna. Shri Guru, mute. Yeah.
All right. So that is well said. But in my vision, if you and many of you appear to me as Swamini's choicest kinkri, is anything out of place in that vision of ours? At the same time, even if someone perceives you or anyone as such, one is not allowed to think that because somebody thinks of me like that, I am that. See, this is the ultimate paradox. So what one thinks of oneself really becomes the most critical thing. Even if others think of us very highly, even people think of even Srimati Radharani very highly, but how she thinks about herself. You got the point? So if in someone's vision, you are very special, whatever, at the same time, we have to become, now we have to really, that means it is an encouraging gesture, encouraging word that yes, someone sees us in that potential. Correct? So without realizing the potential, if we also start identifying or claiming that we are what others think of us, it would be dangerous. No? We should be very clear about our eternal identity, which will be realized only after we leave this body. But in others' perception, there is nothing wrong if they perceive you or anyone as such. It should be very encouraging that they are hinting They are pointing to our potential. Yes, you have that potential. Yes, you have that potential. Everybody has that potential. Correct? But we have yet to realize it to the fullest extent. So we are on the right track, in the right direction, and stay tuned in. Hare Krishna.
And answer. Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam. Such amazingly you speak all the voices from our heart. Your your divine speech makes them all run away from our heart. Just a small question, Shri Guru. In this verse, we see Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita. That in all names of Krishna, Krishna pours all his powers, Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita. So, how Shri Guru we see in some scriptures they say that 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu is equals to one name of Lord Ram, and three names of Lord Ram is equals to one name of Lord Krishna. If all the names of Krishna have all the powers in it.
Yeah, so some name is made special. Na? All are transcendental.
नीचे बैठ के 2 मिनट फिर आपको उधर निकलना है तो आपके लिए वो अपॉइंटमेंट कैंसिल की है
Hey, 1 second. Okay.
आदमी की ससुराल
Yeah, your question requires elaboration. So yes, if the scriptures, they are the compilations of the realization of different stalwart more cunning than other beauties. No? Kanda, the effect of Krishna's name, because it's a source of all other expansions. Krishna's name, whatever the scriptures say, Hare Krishna. 1 second, I have to take the pose. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam. Shri Guru, we can take this question next Wednesday as well.
Okay, question can be taken. Anyone else has to say something? So I think you got the sense. If Krishna is described as special, उसमें गलत क्या है?
जी
हाँ?
जी
ये तो सेलिब्रेशन होना चाहिए तुम्हारे. This should be cause of celebration, not an object.
Ultimate answer, Shri Guru.
ये तो कोई ऑब्जेक्ट करे तो उसे भी समझा सकते हैं.
Shri Guru.
Why Krishna if somebody इसमें ब्लॉक हो जाता है क्या? नहीं, ये तो आ तो रहा है. Anything else? निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.
Hare Hare Bol. We will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times with love and honor for our dearest Shri Guru. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Rama,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
हृदय से
हरे
कहेंगे
कृष्ण
परम पूज्य भक्ति स्वरूप
राम
गोविंद
राम
महाराज की
जय
जय हो,
जय
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 हो।
समावेश निताई गौर भक्त
जय
वृंद की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि हरि
हरे
हरि.
Hare
बोल,
Hare.
बोल।
See you in less
Pranam
than.
Shri Guru. Pranam.
Hare Krishna. निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि हरि.
प्रणाम।